back to another video of mine. Today we are doing another vlog, and yes, this is about my MEPS experience. Oh, joy, where do I start? I don't think I've been kind of quiet for the past couple days on like my Twitter and even YouTube, like Instagram. I've been kind of quiet. And I have a very good explanation on that. So, unfortunately, on Monday at MEPS, I got disqualified. If you guys didn't know my last video, it kind of explains why, My last video that I uploaded on Saturday was explaining why I had to do like a whole weird process just to even go to MEPS. Unfortunately, when I was... Let me just give you the backstory. Let's back it up. Okay, so when I was 15 years old, I was dumb and stupid and decided, well, let's go ahead and self-harm myself. So I cut myself one time too deep, and I had to go to the hospital, get stitches. I got 5 stitches, and yeah. So that was put on my record, my medical records. I couldn't hide that. Plus, my scar's pretty noticeable. I can kind of show you guys now that I'm not like, focus. You can kind of see it. Oh, there you go. You can see it a little better now. It's being weird. What the? There you go. You can kind of see it right there on my wrist. Yep. So, ooh, now I need to focus on my face. There we go. Okay, so, yeah, guys, that was my problem. So, unfortunately, because of it, I got disqualified. Now, I'm not, like, completely upset about it because I kind of knew it was going to happen. It did suck because I went through all that process just to be disqualified. Now, just because I got disqualified doesn't mean I'm completely out of the military, like I can't go to the military anymore. That's not true. I just have to get a waiver. So I guess it's called a temporary disqualification. So I'm still able to join. I just need to get a waiver. I passed everything else besides the self-harm, which, I mean, what can you do? So yeah, that sucked. It sucked, and it was a long day. Wasn't as long as what other people say that they've been through. I think it's because our MEPS, I don't know if it's because it's smaller or what, but things went by so fast. I'll tell you all about it, trust me. So let's actually talk about that right now. So MEPS, my MEPS experience. Okay, so we're gonna start from going to the hotel the day before MEPS. So I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a hotel for the night before MEPS, which was cool. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So on Sunday afternoon, I drove up to Salt Lake City. I live in Utah, so I had to go to the Salt Lake MEPS. So they put me in a hotel about, I want to say 13 minutes away from MEPS. It wasn't too far away. Anyways, they put me in a hotel for the night. It was a Holiday Inn. And it was really nice, guys. Like, I'm not even joking. This place was, like, fancy. They put you in some good places. I don't know if it's for the military trying to be like, yeah, join us. We're freaking awesome. You know, we'll give you all these good things. Little do you know. No, just kidding. But no, they put me in a nice hotel, and they give you a meal ticket. They gave me a meal ticket, they gave me my card key. So, okay, let's back it up. Let's do it as if I just arrived at the hotel, okay? So I just arrived at the hotel. I couldn't park because you have to have a key card to go park, okay? So I had to go into the hotel, went to the front desk. I was like, hey, I'm here for MEPS. I don't know what I'm doing, you know? And the lady at the front desk, there's another girl kind of by the desk. She's like around my age. And she's like, oh, you're here for MEPS? And I was like, yes. And she's like, okay, well, follow me. I'll explain everything and get you your card key and everything. And I was like, well, my car's outside, just sitting. I need to go park it. Where do I park? And she's like, I'll explain that when we get back here. And I was like, oh, okay. At this time, I didn't realize she was the liaison for the MEPS, or liaison for the hotel. I don't know. She was a liaison, so I knew that. Anyways, so she takes me back into this room. They call it, I think, the Freedom Room or the Freedom Lounge. Freedom Lounge. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but something like that. It's just a big lounge where all the MEPS people go to just hang out when they're staying at the hotel. You know, you get to interact with other people, and it's just a huge room that has like a TV, has like a couple TVs actually, and has like tables, and it had a ping pong table, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty chill. And I walked in there with her, and there was already people in there, a lot of guys. I saw one girl, one other girl. I don't know what she was going into. I didn't really talk to her much. But I didn't see any other girls, so I was like, oh, this is awkward. You know, those people were playing some ping pong. So the liaison was talking to me, asking me, so can I have your ID? I gave her my ID, and then she went through some paperwork. She had me sign in a sign-in sheet, and then she also asked me to, get a card key, or not a card key, but she made me go back to the front desk where you usually check into a hotel to get a little card for parking, and then I had to go into the parking garage area place. It wasn't really a garage, it was more of a parking area that had like gates that you had to enter through. Anyways, so I parked my car, I came back out, and she said I had a roommate, and I didn't know who my roommate was. But yeah, I found my room. I was on the 5th floor of the hotel, and there was like 12 floors. So we were up there, and we were downtown Salt Lake, so it was really cool. Like at night you could see like all the lights to the what do you call them? Skyscrapers. They're not really skyscrapers, but they're tall buildings compared to what I'm used to. So I ended up heading up to my room, and that's when I met my roommate. She was only 18 years old, and she was going into the army. So she was there for her first time to MEPS, just like me. And we just talked a little bit. Like, I walked into the room, and I should have knocked, I think, first before I just walked in. But I walked in, and I was like, hello? And I just kind of, like, walked in, and the room's all dark, the lights are off, and there's just a TV playing, and I was like, this is awkward. So I walked in, I was like, hi, how are you? And she just, like, sat up from her bed and was like, hi. And I was like, yeah, this is awkward. You know, in my head, I was like, well, I don't know this chick. She don't know me. This is just awkward. But I was, like, trying to make conversation. When I get nervous, I talk a lot. So I was like, hey, my name's Nikki. I'm here for my first time. What about you? Oh, yeah? Cool. Well, I literally just couldn't stop talking. It was, I think I annoyed her. Nah, she was really chill. I really liked her. She was a pretty cool roommate. Yeah, so I just sat in the room with her for a minute. We talked. We kind of got to know each other. She told me she was going into the army to be a 31 Bravo, which is, I guess, military police for the army as a reservist. And she was just telling me, you know, how she got it. She already did her ASVAB, and she got like a 91. And I was like, a 91? I only got a 50 or a 51 when I did my practice one, because I also had to take my ASVAB at MEPS the same day. So that was fun. Anyways, we'll get there. But, yeah, so we talked, we met, you know, whatever. I kept losing things, though. So I'm pretty sure she thought I was a dummy because I kept losing. I lost my keys. They ended up just being in my bag, but I thought I lost them, so I started panicking. I lost my wallet for a minute, but I found it. It was in my pocket. I was just panicking. You know, I was just so, like, I was scatterbrained because I was so, like, I don't know, excited and nervous and didn't know what was gonna happen because, my recruiter and I didn't know if I was gonna even pass, you know, if I was gonna pass MEPS or if they were just gonna let me in. So I was nervous. I didn't know what was going on, and I just kept forgetting things, and it was rough. We ended up, after we talked for like an hour or so, we ended up going down to the Freedom Lounge to just look at the schedule, because you usually have a meeting around 8:30 in the afternoon, like 8:30 at night, to just talk about like what you're gonna expect during MEPS and make sure everyone's accounted for and just things like that, because they want to make sure you're there, you know, and you're not just screwing around, I guess. So we went down there to look at the time, found out what time that meeting was supposed to be because we couldn't remember, and then because they have it posted on a board, at least they did in our MEPS, our hotel for MEPS. And then after that we went out to go eat, because they give you a little meal card with your key card, and this meal card lets you like go to a restaurant that they have you, at least for us it was a restaurant right connected to the hotel. So went over to the restaurant, and it was Fat Joe's, or was it called Fat Joe's? I think Fat Joe's or something. It was a good restaurant, not bad at all. It was delicious. They had like hamburgers, chili dogs, chili. What else? They had like a whole bunch of other things too. I just got a hamburger, like make your own hamburger, and I got like avocados on top of it and some fries. And they also give you a cup of chili with it too, which was kind of cool. And then they also give you a drink, so you get a cup to drink like soda or whatever. I unfortunately did drink soda. Don't get mad at me. They tell you not to drink soda because if you drink soda, it could mess up the test because it has like caffeine in it, unless you get one without caffeine. And I had Diet Coke, so it had caffeine in it. I kind of kicked myself in the butt a little bit for that night, but it didn't affect anything for me. I had like half a cup of that, so it wasn't like a big deal, I guess. It didn't affect any scores for me or any of my blood work or piss tests or anything like that. So anyways, so after that, after we ate, we had to go to the meeting. Went to that meeting. As I said, they were just talking about, what you're gonna expect and stuff in MEPS the next day. And then after that, we all of us that were there for MEPS decided we wanted to play some Uno. And so like 20 of us were playing Uno in the Freedom Lounge, and it was pretty fun. We all got to kind of know each other. I mean, I didn't really know any of them. There was like 4 girls, and then like a whole crap ton of guys. One of the girls said she was going into the Marines, and I was like, girl, I'm so proud of you. I could never. I really could never go into the Marines. I'm not strong enough for that. So when I see that a girl is going into the Marines, that's just badass to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome. So, and then my roommate, she was going into the Army, and then the other girl, I have no idea what the other girl was going into, and then there was me, which was Air Force. So we played some Uno for about an hour-ish, played a couple games, and then after we were done with that, my roommate and I decided to go up into our room to get ready for bed, because it was going to be a long day the next day, at MEPS, because you have to get up at 4 in the freaking morning, 4:30, wake up calls 4:30, but I got up at 4 because I wanted to take a shower that day, so I didn't have to, I didn't want to take it that night because I wanted to be cleaner, if that makes sense. I wanted to make sure I was as clean as possible for the exams, so yeah, so I decided to wait to take a shower until that morning. So that night, that hotel was so nice. The bed was great. Everything was nice. The room was awesome. I couldn't have, complained mostly. There's one part I would have complained about that room that I stayed in. So unfortunately, we had a problem with, there's a guy creeping in that truck that keeps passing. It was weird. Anyways, if he circles one more time, I swear to God, I'm gonna stab somebody. Anyways, what I was trying to say is, that night, there was a little hole in the window, like where the latch would go to like unlock and lock the window. But for some reason, this latch was gone, okay? And there was just this big hole. And at like 1 o'clock at night, it started to get super windy, and we were on the 5th floor, remind you. So we were on the 5th floor. This wind's blowing into this tiny little hole, so it's like, like the screech that happens when it gets windy. And mind you, I haven't slept yet because I was so nervous and excited. I tried to sleep, could not fall asleep for the life of me. I think I started to doze off a little bit, and then the wind happened, and then I was up, and after that, I was up. I think I slept for maybe a couple hours, if that, before MEPS, because I think the wind died down around like 2-ish, so it only lasted for an hour, but to me, it lasted an eternity, because I was tired. The night before I went to the hotel, I didn't sleep at all. I had problems sleeping, so I for sure thought I was going to be able to sleep this time. But nope, not with that wind. So I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like red-eyed, puffiness. I was tired. I did not want to get up. I got up, took my shower, and for you ladies out there, I don't know if this is for all the MEPS, but for this one, they provided douche. So, douche cleaner. Let me say that. Douche cleaner. Okay, so for you girls, if you're worried about anything with smells or anything like that, they do provide stuff to help with that. So yeah, that was interesting to me because I was like, okay. And that girl that I was roomed with, I don't think she knew what that was, because I was like, did you see that product they have in there? And she was like, oh, is it tampons? And I was like, no, the bottled stuff. She's like, oh, is that shampoo? And I was like, yeah, sure. You know, I was like, yep, nope. She's like, I didn't use it. And I'm like, oh, cool. Anyways, so girls, they do provide something for you, I think. At least my MEPS did, which was kind of nice. I didn't use it. I didn't need it, but, and my own stuff. But, yeah, guys, just a heads up on that. I don't know, are guys able to use that? I don't know. I don't know about the guys. I don't know. I ain't a guy, so if you have a different experience when you were a guy, let me know. But yeah, so I took a shower and then got out around 4:30. So I took a 30-minute shower, brushing my teeth, getting ready. You know, my roommate's already up by this time because they call your room on the phone that they have provided in the room. They'll call and say, hey, it's time to wake up, and you'll be like, okay, I'm up, and then you just hang up the phone. But I think that's how it goes. I was in the shower when they did the call, but I heard the phone. It was noisy as heck, so my roommate took care of that. But anyways, so after that, we went down to go eat. We had to wait until 5 because we got down there about 15 minutes before they started serving the food. But we got down there, we ate once it was 5, and we literally only spent maybe 30 minutes, not even, probably like 20 minutes to eat, maybe even less. And the food wasn't terrible. I don't recommend eating those eggs. If it's the complimentary breakfast, I do not recommend those eggs. The eggs are powdered eggs, I think, because they did not taste real, and they had a weird texture and they tasted just not right. Heads up on that. They had a lot of things that you could eat, like cereals and yogurts and fruits. They also had bread, muffins. Yeah, they had a lot. I was nervous to the point where I didn't eat a whole bunch. I tried to get a big plate of eggs because I was like, eggs give you energy. I need energy right now. So I got a big plate of eggs and I could only eat like half of it because it tasted so bad. Don't recommend it. So I had eggs, and then I also had a banana and a yogurt. And that was my breakfast with some water because I wanted to drink a lot of waters, which I had a huge bottle like this tall. Let me do it this way because you can't see. Like this tall. It was good. It's all right. But then after that, they have another meeting. They had us meet up at 5:30 to have this meeting. So we met up. We talked about what you're going through MEPS again, how it's going to work. And then they also explained if you drove your own car and you have to drive the MEPS, make sure you take blah, blah, blah to go here to go to MEPS. So they kind of give you a little bit of a direction. I just used Google because I don't know the city very well up there. So I just used my Google map app. So yeah, after that, they'll also tell everybody else that's taking the bus that they have to wait until the bus comes. So everyone that took their cars were able to just leave right then. We didn't have to follow the bus or anything. I've heard some people say that they had to follow behind the bus. For us, it was just like, go ahead, go whenever you want. As long as you get there before 6, we don't care. So, which was kind of cool. So I just went down right after the meeting was over, and everyone in the bus still had to wait, but I was good to go. So I found the place pretty easy. Wasn't hard to find. After that, I just waited in my car for like a good 15 minutes because I had to wait for the bus. I didn't want to stand out in the cold because it was a cold morning. And so I just stayed in my car and waited for the bus to come, and the bus finally came. And I got out of the car, and I think it was like 3 minutes early. They wouldn't let anybody off of the bus until it was exactly at 6 o'clock. Okay, this made me angry because I was like, dude, just let's get this going. I want to get this over, you know? But I understand because it wasn't 6 yet and the place opens at 6. So the bus driver didn't let anybody off the bus until exactly at 6. Once it turned 6, everyone came off the bus. We all stood in front of the building, like right in front by the stairs. I don't know if he's a MEPS director or somebody. I don't know who he was. He was an older man. He was very nice looking. He looked nice and he was nice. Like he wasn't mean. You know, I've heard some people say they shout at you and yell at you like you're already in boot camp. That wasn't the experience for me. For me, this guy was pretty nice. You just needed to listen. Like everyone says, listen. Don't be stupid, you know, just listen, okay? He started telling us, welcome to MEPS, you know, we're glad to have you guys. Our mission's not to, you know, disqualify you guys at all. Our mission's to get you through so you can join the military. He was just saying, you know, kind of like a speech thing like that. And he's like, so we do have some things you need to make sure that you're aware of. We don't allow weapons, like that's a federal offense if you have a weapon in here. He's like, even nail files are even like qualified as a weapon, like if it has the nail file on any clippers or anything like that. So if you had any of those, you had to talk to him directly and let him know, and then they would have to confiscate it until you left. So I mean, it wasn't a big deal, you know, it wasn't a big deal. And then there's a couple of the guards that came out. They were like police officers. They looked like they were police officers. Anyways, one guy came out with a ski mask, like covering his whole face except for his eyes. And I was like, gosh, this guy's scary, you know, because I couldn't see him. It's just a little scary. So he comes out and he's like, listen up, I'll be doing, you know, security checks. We're gonna make sure you don't have anything illegal on you, you know, no weapons, nothing like that. He's like, you guys don't have to take off your shoes. I know some MEPS make you take off your shoes, but he's like, you guys don't have to take off your shoes here unless you had boots on. So if you had cowboy boots or like snow boots or like the girl boots, you'd have to take them off. If you had sneakers or tennis shoes, you were fine. You didn't have to take off your shoes. So that was kind of cool. I was ready to take off my shoes, you know. And then they told us that we had to take anything metal off of us that we could, and to let them know if we had some metal on us that we couldn't take off or something. Like, so the director, I'm gonna call him the director. I don't know who he was, but he seemed like he was directing everything, okay? So the guy that came out, the director, we'll call him director, he came out and he was still out with us, and he's like, okay guys, we're gonna have you line up on the stairs and going down the ramp, okay? So I heard that part. I know I heard that part, okay? And he was like, okay, I'm gonna call your name. If you hear your name, make sure you say here, or else I won't mark you down because I didn't hear you. And then we won't be able to sign you in because technically you never were here. People don't understand, you know, when I say I'm here, when I say your name, say here loud enough so I can hear you. People don't understand that. So I don't understand how people do this. I don't understand it all. So people, he would say people's names, and a lot of people would just be like, here, or here, like here. And it's a big open area, so like, even just a little, you have to kind of like, not yell, but holler a little bit so he can hear you, right? So a lot of people were saying here, and he would be like, say the names. For instance, like if it was me, he would say like, Corp, and people would be like, here. It'd be like, Corp, and then they wouldn't say anything again, like the person that was supposed to go. And it's like, bro, what the heck? Okay, so, whatever. So people, and then he'd see him walk, and he'd be like, hey, you need to speak up, I can't hear you. Did you even say here? And the person would be like, yeah, I did. We'd be like, no, I didn't hear you, so next time speak up. And then he'd look at all of us and be like, make sure you speak up. He wasn't mean about it. He was just being, you know, stern, like, listen, I want to get you guys out of the cold, is pretty much what he was trying to do, right? So, anyways, he was calling all of us up. There was maybe 30 of us, not a big group, only like 30 or 40 max, which is kind of crazy, because I've heard people say they've had a lot of people, and for me, it was only a few. Anyway, so we lined up in a line. After our names were called, we were lined up in a line, because we had to go through security. So, with security, it was super simple. All they do is tell you to take a tray a tray to put your stuff in if you have any stuff on you. I didn't bring in my backpack from the hotel or anything because I took my own car, so I left all of that in there except for brought in a folder because I thought I had to have my own folder. Don't bring a folder, people. Do not bring a folder. You don't need to, okay? Don't do what I did. Don't haul around an extra folder. They provide you one, okay? So I wasn't told that. I thought I had to bring my own folder. Do not bring your own folder. No need. Unless they tell you to for your specific MEPS. Do not bring a folder. If it's never mentioned, don't bring a folder. Please, just do yourself a favor. It's a hassle, and you have to carry that thing around with you everywhere because it has your important documents in it. So, because I had my MEPS, MEPCAT? Is that what it's called? I can't remember what it's called, but it was like a medical form that says what it needs to be done or whatever. And that's important. You don't want to lose that. So just don't take anything unless, you know, your recruiter tells you to, or if MEPS tells you to. Just don't, or if nothing gets brought up about it, don't bring anything. Just do yourself a favor. That was rough for me. I was going through security, forgot I had my keys on my pocket. So luckily the guard guy was like, hey, you can't go through yet. And I was like, sorry. I was like, why? And he's like, you have your keys still on your belt. And I was like, ah, crap. I was like, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. I was like, yeah, I heard you and I'm sorry. I put it back. I put it in the bin. And I was like, I'm good. I don't have anything else on me. And he's like, cool. Walk through the scanner now, the metal detectors. And so I did, and I passed, no problem. They checked through my stuff. I only had my phone, keys, and my folder. I didn't bring anything else because I didn't need to bring anything else, you know. It was just not needed. And we were good. So he passed me, no problems at all at that. They passed me through. And then after you were done with that, there are usually, I guess they're liaisons that are standing out by the front desk. At least for us, there was liaisons standing by the desk, and they were telling us where to go. So there's a Navy liaison. He was like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm going into the Air Force Reserve, sir. And make sure you say sir and ma'am if possible. My MEPS wasn't so strict about that. Like, I forgot a lot to say it, and they didn't really care. And a lot of people didn't say ma'am or sir. It's just good habit, though. I still tried when I remembered. So I was like, yes, sir. I'm here for the Air Force. And he's like, okay, well, the Air Force liaison's that way. And he pointed me towards it. This is a small MEPS, mind you. I had a very small MEPS, so I didn't have to worry too much about where I was going because it was small. So I was like, okay. So I went over and I talked to my liaison for the Air Force, and he pretty much was like, okay, so here's your sticker. He gave me a sticker, and the sticker had my name, what I was going into, and like my social, I think, last four social or something, and then a few other things on the sticker. Didn't really pay much attention to it because he just told me to take the sticker and put it on my left side, and I was like, yes, sir. So I put the sticker on my left side, and then I threw away the wrapper, made sure I threw away the wrapper, and then he told me, okay, we'll go stand out over at this line over here so you can check into the front desk. And I was like, yes, sir. So I went down this hallway, and I sat there, and I stood there. They didn't have many chairs when it came to standing in lines, so I stood in line to talk to somebody at the front desk, and it went by really fast. Like, this whole process was pretty dang fast. I know a lot of people say that, oh, it took hours. It does take hours, but I've heard people say it takes up to 6 to 8 hours. And that's like not including the ASVAB test. I've heard for a lot of people. For me, that's all. It took only 6 hours for the ASVAB test and my medicals and everything. Like, literally everything was within 6 hours. So like 3 hours was worth spending doing the ASVAB test, which wasn't bad. So 3 hours of medical and checkups and everything, nothing. That was nothing. Anyways, but yeah, so I waited for the front desk. When I got to my turn, I walked up to the desk after the lady told me, all right, next. Don't go until they say next. Don't just be like, oh, that person's gone from this. I'm just gonna walk up on. No, don't do that. Don't do that. We didn't have someone do that at our MEPS, but I've heard a lot of people say they got in trouble for that. And I will kind of explain a little bit how I did kind of get in trouble for something kind of like that here in a minute in medical, but I will tell you that in a minute. So Anyways, I checked in. They'll take your fingerprint for your index finger. That's all they took from me is my index finger imprint. Yeah. And then after that, they will have you sign a papers if this was your first time at MEPS, so you'll sign a paper. And then they'll give you a big folder. And this is why I say don't bring a folder, because they will give you a folder with everything you have, with everything you need. Like, if for some reason you had to write a statement for medical history or something, that will already be in your paperwork. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it, okay? They got you covered. So, at least my MEPS did. I don't know about yours, but for mine, they had it all down to a T. I didn't have to worry about anything except carrying around my extra freaking folder for no reason. Once I signed in, she told me, okay, now you can go over to medical. Medical's down the hall to your left. Go ahead and stand in the line over there until you talk to somebody at the desk. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And the lady was super nice. Like, everybody so far at this point of MEPS was actually very nice. Even the police officer that was like, hey, you still have your keys on you. Like, he was super nice about it still. He's like, well, he's like, all right, you're good to go. Good luck. I hope you passed today. And I was like, well, thanks. Like, he was super nice about it. They look mean, but they're really nice. Like, everybody was super nice pretty much. So we go to medical. I'm standing in line with like 10 other people. This time it did take a second to get to the desk, just because there was like 12 of us maybe waiting to talk to somebody in medical, because they have to go through all your paperwork and put like a sticker on you and like everything like that. So I get up to the desk. The guy I talked to, he was kind of grumpy. He was a little bit grumpy. He was nice, but he was a little bit more grumpy, it seemed like. And I don't know if it's because it was early in the morning. He was still a really nice dude, but he pretty much asked you, okay, or she asked you, whoever asked you at the medical desk, they ask you, what's your natural eye color? And you'll tell them, mine's brown. What's your natural hair color? Mine is brown. So I told him brown. Then he's like, what's your height? What's your weight? What's your, everything like that. That's usually on your driver's license. They'll still ask you that, even if they already have paperwork on it. I think it's just to verify things, So they'll put that in your paperwork. And then after they're done with that, they will give you your paperwork back. And then they'll also give you a sticker. I didn't understand what these stickers mean, okay, until I found a cheat sheet. There is a little thing on their desk that told them, I guess, what stickers to give people for certain reasons, and I kind of like was able to glance and see what my sticker was. Mine was a red sticker, okay? Most of everyone else had green stickers, so when I saw I had a red sticker, I was like, oh, this is not gonna be good. Right? He gave me a red sticker. I had to put it on my name tag, so anywhere on my name tag, just had to put a sticker on my name tag. Also, somebody, I can't remember who somebody gave me a sticky note to put on my freaking name tag too, but they gave everyone a sticky note to put on their name tag. I put a sticky note on my name tag. That was cool. So I think that was when I got my blood pressure taken, which, by the way, was next. After I got all my paperwork back from the medical desk, the guy told me, okay, go stand in that yellow line right there, and they had them marked in like colors with lines, which was kind of cool. I like that. He's like, go stand in that yellow line with those other people and wait to get your blood pressure done. And I was like, yes, sir. So I went to go stand in that line. It only took like 3 seconds. I was literally standing in there for a second, and then that person walked out of the room, and the guy was like, next. And I was like, okay, I'm coming in. So I go in. He's like, okay, sit down in the chair. I sat down in the chair, and he took my blood pressure. And I failed it the first time. He's like, okay, I'm gonna let you sit here for a minute. Your blood pressure is not gonna pass unless you calm down. And I was like, yes, sir. I was so nervous. Like, I could feel my heart pumping at this point, because it was early in the morning. This was my first time being in MEPS, and I've only been there for like 5 minutes, and I'm already going through tests, and I don't know what I'm doing, and it was nerve-wracking. But I was able to calm myself down. He said that I barely passed the second time, and I saw that my heart rate was 100 or 99, and my blood pressure was fine, but my heart rate was 99. So I think I barely passed. I think if you're 100, they can't pursue further with things. So I was lucky. So after that, they'll put you through for me, it's all going to be different depending on your MEPS. For me, this is how my MEPS went. So after that, he wrote in my files, because they'll do that every time you go through a thing, they'll write into your files. So after that, he gave me back my folder and was like, cool, so now you need to go to vision. And I was like, yes, sir. So I went to Vision. I think it was a red line for Vision. So I went to Vision and I stood in line and I had to wait for a little bit of a second. And then the guy was like, okay, next. Went in and the guy was like, okay, so have you ever had a vision test before? And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, all right, so you know the basics. And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, okay. So I need you to put your head in this machine. And it was just one of those machines that you put your eyes through like this, and they give you lines of letters, and you're just supposed to read them. And so he gave me lines to read, and there's like a place up top to look, and then a place down below so you can look up and down. But he wanted me to focus on the top ones, and he's like, okay, read off these letters, the smallest letters you can read. And I was like, okay. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, because they were all blurry, guys. I'm not even joking. Like, all these letters looked blurry to me, and he told me to take off my glasses. I had to have my glasses off. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna fail. So I start panicking, you know? I'm like, I can't, I think that's an 8 or D, C, I don't know. And he was like, okay. And he wrote something in my paper. And I was like, oh God, I failed already. And I just got here, right? So I'm like freaking out. He was like, all right, let me adjust this real quick. So he adjusted it. And then he was like, okay, try now. I tried, and I could see him perfectly. I was like, oh, okay, I can read that very bottom one. It's blah, 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 right? And he was like, oh, perfect, okay. And then he's like, all right, now look at the bottom screen and read things from down there. And I looked down, read it perfectly, no problem. He's like, cool. All right, now come stand over here. So I went over, stood by him, and he's like, pick up this metal chain. So I picked up this metal chain. He's like, put it next to you. And I was like, what? He's like, just put it next to you. What are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing here, okay? So I picked it up and I put it next to me like this. He's like, okay, back up. And I'm like, okay, backing up as far as I can, as far as the chain would let me. He's like, all right, now let go of the chain. And I was like, okay, I let go of the chain. He's like, okay, now there's a book in front of me, okay? Remind you, there's a book in front of me. And he's like, okay, now read these as fast as you can. And I was like, yes, sir. So he starts flipping through it, and I like lean a little bit closer, and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, what? And he's like, what? You can't just step up and look at it. You have to stay at that distance as far as the chain lets you go. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I did not realize that's what that was. I apologize. Go again. I felt so bad, and he made me feel stupid, and like, yeah, it's my fault. I should have probably paid attention a little bit more, but how am I supposed to know? I've taken a vision test, but not that kind of vision test, okay? So this was just the color blindness test that they want you to take to make sure you're not colorblind. And I passed it, no problem. I don't have color vision deficiencies or anything. Deficiencies? Is that how you say that? I passed it, no problem. Here was something in my folder. And then I had to do another eye test that is required for the AirForce. It's to see your depth perception, okay? And it's just little bubbles. They'll give you a line of bubbles, and then you have to figure out which bubble is like popping out at you, like 3D. That one was all right. I struggled a little bit at the very last one that they wanted me to read, and I was like, I think it's number 3 and 3. And like, I had to guess. I literally had to guess on that last one because it was hard to tell on that last one. But all the rest were super easy. And he's like, yeah, they get harder as they go. He's like, but you passed, so you're fine. And I was like, shh. So I passed that. Then they had me do another eye test. I think it was an eye test. Yeah, another eye test. I don't know what this eye test was for, but it's like a little air balloon that you look into the machine, and then they ask you to read a paragraph thing. I messed this up the first time, okay? Because I didn't. He did tell me. I remember him saying, just to let you know, there's 2 numbers in front of these letters, so read them out. But there are 2 numbers, and I started reading out, and I didn't read out numbers. I was like DF. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, remember, I said there are 2 numbers before the letters. And I was like, oh, you're right, because it looked a little like fuzzy for me. So I was like, oh, okay, it's blah 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 blah. And he's like, okay, perfect. So I passed all those. Next was going to be my hearing, and I sat in the chair and was waiting for my hearing test. Now, this was where I was a little bit nerve-wracked also because I've heard a lot of people say it was super hard. They ended up taking me from there to a different place, though. They were like, actually, Nikki, we need you, or they said Nicole, because my name is Nicole. They said, okay, Nicole, we need you to go down over here. So I went over there and they're like, okay, go pee. And I was like, oh, pee test, yay. And they're like, no, we're not doing a pee test. We need you to go pee because you're taking the ASVAB test now. And so that's when I got a little confused. I was like, but I have pee. I need to pee right now for the pee test. But no, they wanted me to do the ASVAB test first. So I was like, okay. So I peed. Then went into a room with a whole bunch of computers with a few other people and took the ASVAB test. Now, the ASVAB test was a little bit easier than all the practice tests I was taking. Still sucked, though, not gonna lie. Still sucked. I got a 36 on the ASVAB test. That is not a good score for me. At least for the AirForce is poopy. It's barely passing. It's nothing to be happy about for me. I probably only qualify for a couple jobs for what I want to do. So, not happy. I could retake it, but I don't want to go back to MEPS. I do not want to go back to MEPS. Not that was a terrible experience. I just don't want to go to MEPS. But anyways, so we went into the room, took the test. My test took about 3 hours. So I think that web test is only a 2-hour test, but I took about 3 hours because I had to take that test, also a cyber test, and I also had to take a personality test for the AirForce. They have so many tests. So I took all these tests. I don't know if I passed the last two. I don't know if there's a way to pass or fail with the personality test, but I don't know. The personality test sucked, and I will tell you why. Because it makes you choose between two terrible options most of the time, and you don't want to pick them. For instance, there's a lot of these ones. I would rather work by myself than to work with a different cultured person. Like, they were saying you would rather work by yourself than work with another cultured person. And it's like, of course not. I'm not racist. I don't care. Like, people are people, right? We're all the same. So I didn't want to choose that. And then there was another option that said, I am super lazy not really. It was like saying, I prefer to stay at home than actually do extra work at work or something like that. And I'm like, which one do I mean, I'm not racist, but at the same time, I'm not lazy, and I do actually go into work to do extra work. So I was like, I guess it's be lazy, because I ain't putting no, I am not racist, and I refuse to be racist. I don't know if that's just trying to weed people out. I don't know if it's gonna weed me out because they think I'm not, a hard worker now. I don't know how that all works, but, yeah, that test was ridiculous. ASVAB wasn't too terrible. I will say practice your doing functions? You know, the saying where they say, like, there's parentheses and then equations, like 3x times 5 equals, or y. You know what I mean? Like, those weird function things. Make sure you remember one saying. This is what helped me a lot throughout the test. Was, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember that, okay? It's been a while since I've been in high school, but once I saw that helped me a lot. I actually got a decent-ish score in math, which is kind of crazy because I suck at math, so I just studied really hard on math, like, for 3 days straight. That's all I studied was math. Anyways, so yeah, after the ASVAB test, I got my score right away. I didn't look at it because I was rushed over to medical. Okay, this took me 3 hours to take this damn test. After I was done this test, I was pretty much the only one left at MEPS. Still trying to go through the process. So everyone else already did their things. They were already done. Most of the people that went to MEPS that day all were going to be going to boot camp for the Marines. Almost everybody there was there for the Marines. So they were just getting their final checkups to be shipped off to boot camp for the Marines, which was pretty cool. I was like, man, that's awesome. These guys are going to boot camp, and that could be me one day, you know? Got my test results, didn't look at them. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been super upset at MEPS, and I'd rather not be more stressed than I already was stressed. Okay, so I went to MEPS, more stressed than I was supposed to. It really isn't a big deal, guys. It really isn't. It is, but it isn't, okay? We'll explain that more in the future. This is gonna be a long video, and I apologize, guys. I hope you're okay with tagging along here. Okay, next thing is, after I was done with that, they told me to go back to medical. I went back to medical. I stood in the line to get to the desk. They called me over, and they were like, okay, so what do you gotta do now? And I was like, I still gotta do my hearing. I still gotta get blood work. Still gotta pee in a cup. I still had to do my physical. My physical. I had to do everything pretty much still. And they're like, oh wow, okay, yep, let's get you your hearing. So they put me in the hearing booth. And this hearing booth is like an enclosed booth, like literally like a room that's all soundproofed. And then they shut a door and you're in there, and then there's like a couple different stations for different people to sit in. I sat in one of the booths, put the headphones on. They're pretty snug, which is good. You want them snug so it like cancels out any other noises you might have. So I put them on and I listened super hard. Like I was grabbing the thing like this, and I was like, shh, like I could hear my own heartbeat. That's how quiet it was. And I'm like sitting there like, oh my gosh. Start hearing little beeps, and I'm like, oh, beep, 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 beep. Like I'm like freaking out with the clicker. I'm like, beep, you know? No, don't do that. Don't click it like every 3 seconds. I actually heard every single beep. The smallest beep I could hear. I think there was like once on my right ear I didn't hear the smallest beep because it goes beep, beep, beep. Like it goes from small to loud to louder. So it has like 3 different beeps you can choose from. The smaller beep is the good beep. You want the smaller beep. And when you hear a small beep, click the clicker as soon as possible. Like, so they know, hey, I heard that smallest beep. And so I did that. I passed. I freaked out at the end though. I'm not gonna lie. I freaked out at the end because at the end, after I finished clicking on my clickers, there was no sound. For a solid 10 minutes, there was no sound. And I was like, oh my god, I'm failing this test. I am failing the test. I'm failing. Because I didn't hear a beep for 10 solid minutes. And then the lady came in and I was like, okay, you guys are all done. And I was like, oh, I failed. And then she gave me back my packet. I looked at my packet and it said pass. And I was like, whoa, okay. That must have just been checking something. I don't know. But I passed that. Then they took me over to urinalysis. I went into the bathroom. Now this is for girls. I don't know what it's like for guys. For the girls, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The lady was super nice about the whole thing. She wasn't awkward about it. She was nice. So she's like, okay, you need to go pee in a cup. And I was like, okay. She's like, this is what you're gonna do. These are the cups. Pick your cup. Put your name on the cup. There's a sticker you'll put on there that has your name on it. And then you will, you have to put your pants and undies by your ankles. You can't have them, anywhere between your thighs or anything. It has to be all the way down so she can see. So, yeah, I was like, okay. And the store doll is open. I can't speak. You know what I'm saying. The stall door is open. And she has a desk right next to the stall, kind of like across from you, across the room. And the lady literally did not even like look at me. Like I grabbed the cup, I pulled down my pants, and I made sure I put all my pants down, and I took the cup and I put it under. And girls, this will help you a lot. Okay, I didn't have a lot of aiming problems because I made sure that I put the cup like up there, like not up there, no. I made sure I put the cup right next to where my pee hole is. Like I pretty much cupped my pee hole with the cup, okay? That's what I'm saying. Like you cup your pee hole, okay? And then you pee. And then you just kind of watch, make sure you're watching. I know that's awkward, but at the same time, it's better to watch yourself than seeing someone else watch you. So you're not making eye contact with somebody while you're peeing. So you're just making eye contact with your own self, trying to make sure you're peeing in a cup. That was very, very helpful for me too. But I'm sitting there, checking, make sure I'm peeing in the cup. and I didn't have any spillage or leakage or anything. I just filled up the cup, and then I wiped off like a little bit that was on the side, and put it down on a paper napkin thing that you have to get to put the cup on. And then after that, I wiped, and then I stood up. Do not flush the toilet until they tell you to, okay? So I didn't flush the toilet. I just stood up, after I wiped, I stood up, I pulled up my pants, and I put the lid on my pee. And the lady was like, okay, all right, you can flush now. A lot of people say you can't flush until your urinalysis has been tested. But for me, I was able to flush right away. So listen, though, because it's different for everybody. Everybody has a different experience with this. Just remember that. So after I was done with that, I was ushered into blood work. Okay, so, well, just kidding. Let me go back to urinalysis. Okay, so urinalysis. Once you're done with that pee, you walk over to the window. Okay, there's a window in the ladies' restroom and the boys' restroom, I'm guessing. Okay, so this window will be closed, but it will open when you're ready to hand over your pee. So you hand over your pee, the guy, for me it was a guy, will tell you exactly what to do. Do not leave that window. I tried to leave a couple times, and I was yelled at, don't leave the window, because you gotta be there, to make sure that he labels it as your urine and that it's actually your urine and not somebody else's urine. So he tested it right in front of me, and I guess I passed. I didn't know what any of the colors meant, but I passed. And yeah, and then after that he'll give you back your cup, and he'll be like, okay, throw away the cup, or put your pee back into the toilet, throw away your cup, and wash your hands, and then come back to the window. So you'll do all that. You go back to the window, and then he will have you sign a paper, and then after that, you're done with your analysis. Blood work. Blood work was a big one for me too, because I was terrified of blood work. Blood work was not that bad, okay? So the guy was kind of an ass, okay? The guy that did blood and urine was an asshole. He was kind of a jerk. So he told me to get up on the chair. There's a chair you have to sit in, and we were told in our briefing, because I didn't tell you guys this either. I'm skipping a lot of things. You'll also have a meeting sometime in MEPS where you will sit down and they will talk about, with medical wise, like don't lie, because we'll find out, this is what's gonna happen, and you write down a paper and you put down whatever tattoos you have, whatever piercings, and all that. So anyways, and then they tell you, so you're gonna have a physical done, and then you're gonna get blood work done. If you ever haven't had blood done before or anything like that, make sure you tell them, so they will watch out for passing out and stuff. And then they'll also go a little slow with you. And I was like, okay, I've never done blood work, so this will be okay. Go in, the guy, I tell him, hey, I've never had blood work before, and I'm a little nervous about the needle and the blood and everything. And he was like, oh, you'll be fine, sit down on the chair. And I was like, okay. So I sit down in the chair, and he's like, hold out your arm. And I was like I said, I've never had blood drawn before, so I'm like holding out my arm. He's like, chink, just like that, you're done. And I was like, like, I'm freaking out. I don't like needles. So he shoved that needle in there, no problem. I mean, he was good at it. Not saying he was terrible. It stung, but it was all right. So he did it, and then he pulled some blood out of me. I panicked a little because I could hear it, and I was like, ew, no. I didn't look at it. I did not look at it. But anyways, after that he was done. He had me, hold the wound with a cotton swab thing, and then he wrapped it up, and I was done with blood. Pretty simple, pretty fast, pretty easy. After that, I went to my physical. Now, this is a lot of people worry about physical. This physical thing part where you have to do duck walk and all that. Not bad. At least for me. I was the only person in the room with the doctor plus an assistant. The doctor was a male, unfortunately, so he was an older male. But, I mean, I didn't feel too weird about it. I mean, it's fine. But yeah, he was an older male. And he was very nice. He showed me how to do all the movements. You have a lot of movements. You gotta do hand movements, you have to do touch your fingers to your thumb to make sure your neurological senses are working. He didn't see this. I don't have two knuckles right here. They didn't see that, luckily. It doesn't bother me. It's just part of me, I guess. I don't know. But he did notice my foot. I have a small toe that's next to my pinky toe on my right foot that is smaller than my actual pinky foot. It's tiny. And it's just a birth thing that I've had. It doesn't bother me or anything. It's just what it is. But he noticed that. And he's like, what the heck is that? What happened? What did you do? And I was like, nothing. It's just the way I was born. And I was like, I don't know. It has a nail. I mean, it's a foot. It's a foot. It's a toe. I don't know. And he's like, is there a bone in there? And I'm like, I don't know. It moves. And I like showed him moving it. And he's like, huh, that's weird. And I'm like, I know. After that, he made me do all the, the physical stuff I had to do in my bra and underwear in front of him. Awkward. Yes, I wore boy shorts, boy underwear, so that helped a lot for me, comfortably wise anyways, and they didn't complain, so I didn't get in trouble for that. I wore a regular bra, and then after that, this is where the fun part comes in. You get a physical on your vajayjay if you're a girl. This was awkward because I think the lady, the assistant, she was a girl. She had to be there. Since he was a guy, she had to be there to chaperone, make sure he's not doing anything, And he was a nice old man. I don't think he would have done anything, at least that I don't know him personally, but, he didn't seem creepy about it. Anyways, so he checked my eyes, he checked my mouth, my ears, and he checked my heart, my lungs, and then he checked like my stomach. Hey guys, sorry about that break right there. My phone decided to get overheated because it's kind of hot in this car. Anyways, so I thought I would finish up the story real quick for you guys. So like I was saying, I had my physical done, and he was checking my eyes, my ears, my mouth, and my stomach, and then at this point, I was still in my bra and underwear. I didn't get undressed just yet. And then the nurse lady, not the nurse, she was like the assistant. She kept telling me, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't take off your clothes yet. You don't have to take off your clothes yet. And he's not gonna stick anything in you. And I was like, oh goody, like I don't want, just okay. And then she just kept making it, I know she was trying to make me feel comfortable with this situation, but she was making me more nervous than comfortable. So they have I guess other people have gowns that they put on when they do this physical, the physical, at least for ladies. I don't know about men, but for ladies, they give you a gown to put on, a medical gown thing where your butt's showing out of the back. I didn't get that. I got a paper blanket thing to put around me, and I freaking didn't want to use it. I just wanted to freaking get this thing over. I was like, I'm over it, I'm done. And the lady was like holding it up while I was getting undressed in the physical room when the doctor was in there, and then I had to get on top of the thing, and she's like, oh, you're sorry, I can't cover you completely. And I'm like, I don't care, just let's get this done. Like, I didn't care I was naked. I was like, he's gonna see me naked either way, so let's just freaking get this done. So they had me lay down on the bed, and he checked my breasts. That's the first thing he did. And he says, okay, I'm gonna check your breasts now for lumps and bumps. So, and if anything hurts, let me know. And so he feels around your boob. It's a little awkward. Like, you gotta have your arm up like this while he's checking your boob. And you have to do that on each side. And he'll check your boob and make sure you don't have any, lumps or bumps. And then he'll stick his finger up your armpit, which hurt a little bit, but it's supposed to. And he does that to see if you have, I guess, I don't know, something about your lymph nodes, maybe? I don't know. And then after that, that's when the really, really, really fun part is. So he'll fill your stomach, he'll press down on your stomach, lower stomach to make sure that, everything's where it's supposed to be. And then after that, he goes down below. So you'll spread your legs, spread eagle, and he will fill, for ladies, this is, by the way, keep in mind, for ladies, he'll fill around the vagina, like down there, but around it, not actually on it. And then after that, after he fills around it, then he'll like spread your folds apart, I think is what I'm not pretty sure. I was already traumatized at this point, right? So, he'll spread it a little bit just to make sure everything looks okay, and then after, he'll just check it real quick, and then he'll be like, okay. He's like, you're done, you passed, you're good. And then after that, he sat me down again after I got dressed, because they had me dress after that, and the funny thing is, I walked out from the physical room, and I put on, I just walked out, and they were trying to keep me covered, and I was like, dude, I don't even care. Like, I don't care. So I walked out, took off the the freaking paper thing, and I was sorry. I thought I was gonna sneeze, but after I took that off, I just started dressing. There's curtains around me, but I didn't want to use them. I just wanted to get dressed and get the heck out of there. So I started dressing, and the lady's like, "Oh no, honey, you need to put the curtains up," and I'm like, why? Like, I'll be dressed in 5 seconds. Like, it's not necessary, and I'm already, like, pulling up my undies, so it's not like... I was like, it's fine, I don't care. You know, and she just kind of laughed at that, and I was like, no, seriously, I do not care. Like, I'm gonna be naked in front of a bunch of other people in the future, so why not start now, right? Like, why not? It was a little awkward, not gonna lie. But then after that, I had to sign out from medical after I talked to the doctor, because he told me, he's like, unfortunately, we're gonna have to disqualify you because, you know, you have a history of self-harm, and we can't approve you from that. He's like, but everything else you passed. Like, it was just that we can't pass you. He's like, it's just a temporary disqualification. All you need is a waiver, and then you're good to go. And I was like, woo, cool beans. So after that, we were done, and I just had to sign out with medical, and then I had to sign out again with the MEPS itself. And then I got a box nasty, the famous box nasty. Now, I'm gonna admit, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. I was starving by the end of the day when I finally got it, and mind you, I got out at 12:30, and I got there at 6, so that was not too long, and that's with taking the ASVAB test. A lot of people say they're there for like 8 hours, so the fact that I was only there for 6 hours is kind of a miracle. So anyways, yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I'm trying to think what else happened. After I had that box nasty, I didn't get to eat it right then, because I took my box nasty, and then the AirForce liaison was like, okay, let me see your paperwork. I gave him my paperwork, and then he had me do the lift test. Now, guys, please do your best on the lift test. This will qualify you for a lot of jobs. I only got an 85 pounds over my head. I could probably pushed it to 90, maybe 95 if I was lucky, but I couldn't do 100. I know that for a fact. But anyways, it's not that hard of a test either. That one's easy. Just make sure you push over 50, I think, is the limit, or the minimum. But yeah, guys, that's the end of this video. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and I will love to answer all of them for you. Also, let me know if there's another video you want me to do to give you more in depth. Like, I could do, like, how the physical's like I can do the moments that they make you do, the duck walk, the famous duck walk. Not even that crazy, but, you know, let me know. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end this video. I love you guys so much. Thanks again for watching, and subscribe if you're new. I do gaming content if you're into that. Also do vlogs once in a while, and I'm going to do a journey into the Air Force, or I might do the Army. We'll see, because my scores make it where I only have like 1 or 2 jobs. So we'll see what I decide to do in my life, whether that be Air Force or Army. Anyways, I love you guys. Bye, little ones.